Dear professors, dear colleagues, thank you so much for this opportunity. My task is to present the Central European Academy and especially its achievement, taking into account that the CEA is something specific. How it is connected to a university. It means that the Central European Academy was established by the University of Miskolc. However, it is not a classical research institute. If I would like to summarize our characteristic, maybe we can say that we are also a research institute with international publishing house profile and other extras. But what does it mean? The Central European Academy has four activities pillars. One of them connected to the senior researchers, research groups and their achievements. One of them connected to young researchers activities. One of them to LLM programs, and last but definitely not least, the publishing house activity. As to the professors' network, we started our operation in 2021. Maybe you can feel some tensions because the CEA was established in 2022. However, the project started in 2021 because originally the project was launched by the Ferencvárdr Institute. It is a public research institute. However, in 2022, the program was transferred to the university, to the CEA. We started our activity in 2021, and since this year, we could involve, as you can see, almost 200 researchers. Year by year, we launched different numbers of research groups, 4, 5, maybe last year we launched 8 research groups. The topics, they were really colorful programs. At this moment, we already launched 4 programs. The manager of this program, Professor Marcin Vielec, he is here among us. And as you can see, the present topics, they connected topics especially interesting and essential for the Polish colleagues. However, there are 2 pending research group connected to the Central European Academy. At this moment, I don't want to denominate the topics because they are before the final decision. But I hope that in not so far future we can focus on this. We can present the 2 new research groups as well. As to the young researchers project, among the audience, you can find these young researcher colleagues who are here in the CEA, who are here typically in Budapest, sometimes in Miskolc. In a given sense, I consider this program as a kind of jewelry of our program. Taking into account that the young researchers are the future of our region, of our scientific communities. From the perspective of a young researcher, this program is 4-year. And it means that the young researchers, they have 2 parallel status in our program. One of them connected to the University of Miskolc doctoral school. They are PhD student there, and that is also a relationship directly with the Central European Academy because they are researcher here in our office. We consider this program as a really international program, and I would like to demonstrate it via 4 potential levels of the cooperation, international cooperation. First of all, of course, the PhD student themselves, because originally we launched this project focusing on 8 countries, 7 member state countries, and 1 country, Serbia, which is a candidate country. In this academic year, however, we broadened the scope, and we also involved other 8 countries. Bulgaria, a member state countries, and other EU candidate countries. At this moment, we involved more than 50 students from the region. However, I have to emphasize that this number is also refer the already so-called graduated students. What does it mean, so-called graduated? The project is 4 year, and now we are waiting for the final PhD defenses of the young researchers of the first year of the fifth year, or I can denominate it which started its operation in 2021. We had in that year 7 PhD students, and 3 of them already finished their activity. It means that they could protect defend their PhD thesis, and in November there are other 4 defenses. Therefore, we hope the best. But in this case, it means that 100% of the first year could finish his or her PhD defense in time. I think it refers to a very, very efficient way how we deal the PhD student research. That is therefore the first level of the internationalization, the students themselves and the supervisors. And it was, I think, something extra, taking into account the activity of other Hungarian doctoral schools activity, that we also opened the status of supervisors. Therefore, it's typical that our supervisors in this project, they are not from our university, but they are from the other universities. As you can see, now we have 45 supervisors from 25 universities, and they are from 11 countries. I noticed and I mentioned that our project especially focuses on so-called Central European countries and the candidate countries, but it does not mean that we do not invite, for example, professors from Western countries. Here you can also see that we have a supervisor from Germany, and in the research group we also invite professors from Germany, France, Italy, and from other countries, sometimes from Japan or from other parts of the world. Okay, as I noticed, there are 4 potential levels: the PhD students, the supervisors, and what is really important, also the course materials, because especially the first 2 years of our project is really strict. At this moment, we have 13 course materials, 13 books. Here you can check these books because in front of this auditorium there are the presentation of the Central European academic publishing houses and the books, different book series, one of them connected to this course. Therefore, we prepared these course materials. However, what does it mean we prepared these course materials? Of course, we also included professors from this region. Approximately 200 professors of this region prepared these course materials. Therefore, this is a really, really hard and interesting cooperation. And our intention always to refresh these course materials in other ones. At this moment, we also have, if I'm correct, maybe 4 new books in pipeline. One of them about the liability, 2 of them about liability, and 2 of them connected to constitutional law of the 16 countries. Because at this moment we have a course materials, but focusing on 8 countries, but we little bit reformed the concepts and we broadened the geographical scope of this research. And finally, I have to emphasize that the fourth level of this cooperation, this is an institutional level. This is not a compulsory level, but some of our young researchers, they already also assistant professors in other universities. And of course, we are trying to provide flexibility, how to arrange this parallel status and activity. And a given number of our young researchers, they are assistant professor or teaching assistants. There are different names of the titles. They are also from Romania, from Serbia, Croatia, Slovakia, and from other countries. I think it's a really interesting aspect of our project. It's a really precious one because in this case, the network built here, it can be also applied, or in another word, used by the other universities directly, because these young researchers can transfer their experience, their network into other universities. And in this way, we can strengthen our cooperation in long run. And some other interesting aspect that these young researchers, they have their annual scientific conference at the beginning of October. We organized a conference of almost with 200 participants, because they had the chance to invite other young researchers from other regions focusing on their topics. Or at this moment, they had already two journals, two so-called student-run journals with really ambitious plans to be indexed in Scopus and Web of Science. We use this kind of journals also to educate the young researchers how to operate high-level scientific journals. Therefore, this is in practice. The idea, the role model is from United States. Sorry for this, but there are so many low reviews. It's a very specific categories. We little bit, of course, modify the concept, taking into account the European standards. Therefore, I noticed that they are student-run, but for example, in the editorial board, of course, you can find professors, because without them, I cannot imagine that they could be indexed in Scopus and so on and so on. Therefore, of course, there were some modification of the original plan. We already launched the next year campaign of the PhD project, and via the QR code, of course, you can find the website of this program. And of course, if you have any questions, if you are curious how to be involved as professors, or as maybe a potential student in this program, please do not hesitate to ask me, or we are really open to start the kind of talking about this. And the third program, this is on LLM programs. I have to emphasize that the LLM degrees are issued by the University of Miskolc. However, CEA provide scholarships to these projects, and also provide a research activity. It means that the course materials is also financed. The preparation of the course materials is also financed by the Central European Academy. Some of them already can be also read here in front of the auditorium. There are two at this moment. There are two LLM programs. LLM, in different countries, LLM it means something different. Here in Hungary, we can give this Master of Laws degree to a lawyer, to a already graduated lawyer. They can be involved in this program. And there are a project about children's rights, and there is a project about the human rights. Maybe we can say that the general one, or more general one, is the human rights and rule of law project, and there is also a children's rights project. In the background of this project, there is a hypothesis, a really interesting hypothesis, in connection with the human rights. Of course, they are universal, but in a given sense, maybe there are some specific characteristics. And from a scientific view, there is a question whether we can build a kind of school of Central European human rights or not. We will see what is the end. We started this project. In the background, you can find more than 20 books. Some of them already published, some of them in pipeline to be published. But this is a huge project with 20 books. It means that approximately 400 professors of this region are involved to present the books of this project. And the the projects and the structure of the projects, it's really similar to the PhD project. Therefore, the students are from this region, the lecturers are from this region, the authors of the books are from this region. Of course, they are English language books. There are specifics, for example, yearbooks operated as journals. They have specific conference, Children's Rights Day, in the next month. At the very beginning of December, is going to be the so-called Children's Rights Days. I think these events, these conferences are really unique because we always try to present something from this region, something positive, good practices. Therefore, of course, it's really important to issue the critiques, how to prove our system is very important. But I think, and we think that it's also important to present the positive messages as well. For example, 2 years ago, we presented the Polish achievements in connection with this. After the birth of the Ukrainian-Russian war, especially the Polish children protection system was under pressure. How to deal at approximately 1 million children, the education of that, and we consider this as a nice achievement, and therefore we provided an opportunity for the Polish Children's Rights Ombudsman to present this achievement. Last year, 2024, Slovakia was the guest of the Children's Rights Day because we consider their mental hygienic program operated by the Slovakian Children's Rights Ombudsman and his team, it's Professor Mikloško. We considered it as a really interesting and positive example. Therefore, at that time, Slovakia was the guest. We also collected donation, for example. It was before the Christmas, and finally, it was transferred to Slovakian orphanage houses. In this year, our plan, however, is Croatia, and they have a specific educational system. Therefore, sorry, but it's not only about books, but there are other very important things. And now I don't want to go into details, but as to the human in children's rights, we could provide a scholarship to 77 experts. And of course, in the next academic year, we would now there is an active year, but we would like to launch the next academic year in September, and of course, we would like to provide other scholarships. And as to the human rights, we started it in 2024. The present year is the second year, and we hope that in the next year we can launch the third year. This project is 1 year long program. And finally, as to the activity of the CEA, I would like to draw your attention that our book series and journals. To tell you the truth, as to our experience, and of course we try to gain pieces of information from our partners from other countries. What is the situation in your countries? And sorry, I use this word. Unfortunately, our research nowadays is really scientific article focused. However, CEA is trying, but jurisprudence, because I think the books, they are a kind of necessity in our in our scientific branch, and therefore we try to promote also writing books. However, we have a kind of intention, I hope not only a dream, that we would like to index this book series. At this moment, we have a pending indexation in front of the Scopus, and we try to promote, and now also in front of you, that if we could, not only we, but we as scientific communities, we could do it and achieve the indexation of book series. I think it could be a good movement, how to gain came back the prestige of the books. Now we are waiting for the results of the assessment of Scopus, and we also launched this kind of indexation in front of the so-called Web of Science. However, I have to emphasize that Web of Science does not index book series, but only books. Therefore, it's a little bit different than the system, but I think it's really important. However, of course, we have the research groups, books series. We also have generations, so book series, because I think in our region is really challenging to publish our books in English without proper financing. And now we provided these opportunities. You can see the first books of this generation book series, the young researchers who prepared their PhD thesis. I think it's really important to provide them this opportunity, but also for the elder generation, and especially professors who are not at the beginning of their career, but somewhere else, but they have great achievements, but maybe they published it in their national language, their achievements. And therefore, for example, in the so-called Quintessence series, we published not merely first publications, but typically we published the publication already was published in the national language. Now we have 3 books in connection with this. For example, Professor Péter Kovács books. He was Justices of the International Criminal Court. And he thought that is a good idea to publish his experience, and we were really, really open to do it. Or that is the book of Polish author who was the writer, the author of the first draft of the UN Convention of Children's Rights, because this UN maybe it's not the correct name of the UN Convention of Children's. I'm sorry for that, from the international public lawyers. But I think what is really interesting that this convention signed by so many countries, maybe this is a unique achievement, and the initiative came from this region. Therefore, we have to be proud of this achievement of the previous scholars and, of course, decision makers who were brave to launch this children's rights project. Okay, and there are other book series, and we have journals. We have already 3 journals. One of them already with 5 years long stories. And in this year, we are going to publish our first yearbooks. These yearbooks also operated in as journals, because there are 2 options how to operate journals. As to the indexation firms' conditions, we prefer the journal way. Here you can check them. 2 of them now have a pending status in front of Scopus and Web of Science. We hope the best. We will see whether we could reach the goals to be indexed by them. And that was the Central European Academy. And please let me inform you one of our partners' achievements. This is the so-called Central European Association for Comparative Rules. This is an NGO, a civil society. The members of this Central European Association, they are national associations. Therefore, the members, they are not natural persons, but legal entities. At this moment, we have 5 members: Hungary, Poland, Romania, Croatia, and Serbia. And of course, we are waiting for other partners from Slovakia and Czech Republic. Therefore, if it's interesting for you to be member of this club, we can start the negotiations during the coffee break. It's a nice thing, but what are the projects? And one of the projects, my favorite one, it is about the publisher journal and book indexation, because as to our experience, we had the same challenges in our countries, that typically they are not social science focused, if I can use this word. And therefore, in numerous cases, the other sciences standards are forced on the lawyers. It's not a partisan organization, but we would like to draw the attention of decision makers that in connection with law, for example, to keep our national heritage, because the law and the language is so important. And some standards, they force us, to publish mostly into English language journals. Maybe you can say that this guy is really interesting because previously he mentioned that there are English language everything. Of course, English language because the internationalization is important. And therefore in the CEA, in the Central European Academy, everything is about English. However, on the other side, we try to make a balance, that also to promote the national languages. And it's also an international problem and challenge for us, and that is the reason why in this association, one of our flagship project, somehow to promote the national language, promote the books as well, and so on and so on. And of course, we also have a newsletter and scientific blog. If you want, you can check this blog. At this moment, typically our senior researchers and young researchers and other outsiders, they publish on the blog. I think it's also a kind of unique thing in this region. I know that numerous colleagues started the creation of this kind of blog, but I think it's not as popular. I can understand why, however, but I think there is a kind of demand from our society to be quicker, because if we would like to index, so if we would like to publish our achievements into journals, it's maybe 1.5 years, 2 years. And there were some developments, and they are waiting for the society. They are waiting for answers from the scientific community. Therefore, I think it's very, very important to provide a proper platform. There are proper platforms, for example, in connection with constitutional law, Verfassungsblog, and others. But we would like to provide a platform in which we can present the Central specific topics and approaches. That's all. Please check it, and I hope you enjoy it. And thank you for listening. I was honored for your attention.